So before I get into the other half of this, I want to say, big up to Stacey McDonald, also known as Stacey Braids, big bad hairdresser, also very talented. You can contact her on TikTok, yeah, at Stacey McDonald. If you're in the Papine area and would like, great hair service, someone trusting. Yeah, I want women to understand, pertaining to this topic, that males do not like seeing women happy and fulfilled and thriving in their power. Yeah. It's a threat to their ego, and their desire to control. Especially if they're not really secure within themselves. They haven't put in that work to be secure beings. Yeah. But this is the mentality of majority of them in this society. So you have to have your discernment, because there is a thing called penis war. A lot of males see women thriving and happy and pursue a relationship with them just to get them pregnant and slow them down. Yeah. You can have a promising future and a male around knows that, and he would, or say he will try to say, break you. And rape is one of them, that men use to break women. So it's just to spread awareness, and yeah, and do not let any one of them guilt you into any relationship, into thinking that you need to look a certain way to even attract them. Yeah, because they would do that, and women too, because misery love company, and you have women that are so male-centered that that's all they encourage other women to do, to be like, because they want to be in a competition. They want to fulfill this game fantasy of competing for male validation. So yeah, don't let anybody guilt you. Be yourself, be comfortable in your skin, wear what you want to wear, if it makes you comfortable. Because I realize that no matter what you have on, a male is gonna be a male. Yeah. So protect yourself. Yeah. Yeah, this is part 2, for facing reality of male nature. The fact that men love to rape. Yeah, it's sensitive, but spirituality is not all love and light. Because it's a warfare, You have to have strong intuition and a great discernment. And about that story, that last one, with that empress, she's so isolated to the point where if I should try to talk to her, she sees me as an enemy, you know. And not only is she going through, you know, cognitive dissonance, but she is also a victim of ideological subversion. All of us. You see, men bodies don't tell them to love women, only to fuck. You will hear males say that, you know, they can't have sex with their girlfriends or wives 3 times in a row. But if 3 different females should come in back to back, they would be ready. It's in their nature to go to the next, to find something new, better, to conquer new spaces. They're conquerors, not lovers. And what women don't understand is that the male fantasy is a woman's worst nightmare, you know. The male psyche is not of the divine, you know. Especially when they start to go through puberty. There's many deep, dark, sexual and violent fantasies they start to have. Before I go any further with my point, I want to explain what is ideological subversion. Ideological subversion is a Marxist psychological warfare tool used to change perceptions or thinking patterns among an enemy's country's populace in such a manner that the nation is weakened from within. A type of demoralization. It is a process by which the values and principles of a system in place are contradicted or reversed in attempt to sabotage the established social order and its structures of power, authority, tradition, hierarchy, and social norms. According to Yuri Bezmenov, a former KGB agent, ideological subversion is a process of changing the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that, despite the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusion in the interest of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. We have to question things. We have to question ourselves. We have to question why things are the way they are, you know. Even the pain that you feel, the stress, you know, the confusion. Question that, you know. If it's one thing I learned in holistic healing is to go to the source of things. Yeah. That's how you can really handle, you know, the situation. Well, yeah, let's continue. But wait, these what you would say now, the government hierarchies, right? Ideological subversion, right? It is known as a Marxist psychological warfare tool. So you have this thing called Marxism, right? Which is the political and economical theories of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, later developed by their followers to form the basis of communism. All of these things, right? Communism, socialism, capitalism, right? They're all from men. And unfortunately, Marxism was never fruitful in its manifestation, right? It was an idea to have people living, you know, everyone living equally amongst one another without any classes. But it never came to manifestation. I mean, you know why? You know, power struggle, male ego, and domination, you know. So yeah, let's continue with my points. In order for males to get what they want from a woman, they will lie and breadcrumb, you know, with small gestures for a woman to return to them all their resources. So a male will come and, you know, offer help or say money. He will try to buy you. So you can open up to him all of your energy. I don't like taking things from people, especially males, because I know how they are. Once they give you something, they're expecting something back. Yeah. They feel like they are obligated to your energy. Yeah. So, if you as a woman do not like to stay independent, like they like to say that it's a trauma response, but you're supposed to carry a weight in life. If you can't carry your own weight, why the sense you're around someone else? You're gonna only burden them with your insecurities and your problems. Yeah? So, not every help is help, you know? I'm gonna do a video. And I understand that, because not just males but women have tried to, what you call it, be my friend or whatever. And they even try these tactics as male. And this is how I know that not every female is a female. Some of them are operating on the frequency of male identity. Yeah. So, my next point is males are harvesters of feminine energy, hoarders of energy and things. Most women that I see in relationship today don't look like themselves. Yeah. When you don't center yourself, you lose your energy. You lose your power. And when you put yourself first, people like to say you're selfish, but if you don't pour into your own cup, you won't be able to pour into anyone else's. And people want to have you at their own advantage. That is not your responsibility to make that wish come true. Yeah? I don't know if, I hope that lady, she gets help. I hope that, man, but, because the way how things look, she looks badly beaten down, man. And it's like, I'm thinking that maybe the next time I see even that man, she won't even be around, And that's, that's not something that I would want to see happen to her. Yeah. But if people don't want to help themselves, yeah, you can't help them. And I've learned some hard lessons, Yeah, I've learned to just leave even some people alone. Been like that. But you always have enablers come, or flying monkeys trying to tell you that, you shouldn't be like that. But I never really care anyway. But my last male relationship, after that, once I see any sneaky or shaky behavior, I just leave people alone. I just cut them off. Yeah. And it's all because I learned that hard lesson. Once you see the red flags, you remove yourself. Yeah. Don't wait till it escalates to any further, I don't want to even tell you something personally, like, I learned that with my grandmother, that her first baby father was a Rasta man. And even his child said that that man was a wicked man. Yeah. And to fast forward and see that I fall into that same pattern, but I break that pattern before it could even go to the point where I conceive a weaker seed like that from a person. Yeah. I learned that it's okay to be who I am and to be comfortable in my skin. It's a karma for, for my lineage in a way, because I am choosing to do different. Yeah. I don't want to be married. I don't want to have children. Yeah. Especially in the nuclear family dynamic. I don't want that. Yeah. And I know my grandmother would want that for me. To be free and to not choose the same things that she chose. Because all it did was hinder her and drain her of her life force energy, dealing with males. Right? But yeah, let's continue. Males are not truth tellers by default. So therefore, the so-called nice guy is a covert deceiver. The male psyche is retained with violent and sexual desires. So, the last male I was with, he's a quote-unquote nice guy, He paints an image like he's a humanitarian. And, people believe that he wants to help and heal people, but this man uses those opportunities to destroy women, young women too. Because if a male can say that he as a teenager, when being in his mother's guidance at the time and having the neighbor's child, young little girl, come over to the mother and you take the advantage of her sexually, then you have the heart to say that she likes it, she wants it because she keeps coming back. But you as a teenager and she as an 11-year-old child, you think that she has given you conscious consent to infiltrate her. And males like to worry about a woman's past, but we should worry about a male's past more than anything. Because a lot of them are serial abusers, It's a pattern. Yeah. And we have to check them. Because some of them do some really sick things in the dark and act like they are saints and they are victims, when in fact they are the culprit, the perpetrator. Yeah. when I speak, you know, people been seeing things one way for so long that it's hard to show them another way, that there's another path, you know. Look, but they're so tunnel vision on the same old road that they haven't seen how many new paths have emerged, you know. And it's just to look and to choose different. Lately, you know, I've been realizing more and more that I could be single for a very long time, you know. Well, I'm born under this sign, this Virgo, so naturally I'm restless. Yeah. And I don't have a problem with working. I love to do things that I deeply have a passion for, you know. But yeah, don't be afraid to tap into your passions. Yeah. Take care.